So what is a tech journalist doing at a car event? Well, in my case, having a whole load of fun. And even though I'm not the biggest car person, I have developed quite a knack for electric cars over the past few years. And ever since we did the long-range test with the Polestar 2 almost exactly a year ago, the Swedish performance brand has a special place in my heart. Not only was I impressed by the car itself, but as someone who enjoys good design, I simply love the brand's appearance. So when the good folks from Polestar asked me if I wanted to shoot some content and test drive their latest models, well, I guess you can imagine my answer. So we made our way all the way to Bavaria to spend a few hours with the Polestar 3, a pretty big performance SUV announced a few months ago, and the Polestar 4, the newest member of the family. We have also been lucky enough to score the performance versions of both cars, and in addition, our Polestar 4 came in this simply gorgeous gold color. And man, this puppy just looks simply amazing. Everything else was also pretty much maxed out when it came to extras, and while I do not want to bore you with too many specs and numbers, in this dual motor config, the newest member of Polestar's electric family can back up its stellar appearance with the performance to match. But before we put the pedal to the metal, we took a few minutes to take in the sights behind the wheel. While I feel like most electric cars are overdoing it by trying to be different and making you feel like you are sitting in a spaceship, Polestar is walking that very fine line between a modern minimal cockpit and easy to access controls. New in the 4 is the now landscape-oriented main display, which is accompanied by a smaller screen right behind the wheel and a HUD. This configuration is also shared with the larger Polestar 3, apart from the vertical display, and I found it incredibly practical and easy to read at all times, be it for speed, car controls or navigating via Google Maps. Speaking of Google, all Polestar cars bet on Google's literally mobile OS with a super clean skin overlay that as a visual person I can very much appreciate. Everything from navigation to all the settings for the car's behavior are easy to find and access. Another thing you will immediately notice, both externally and internally, is the lack of a rear window, which has been replaced with a camera that projects everything that happens behind you on the rear mirror, or rather the mirror-shaped screen. It took me about an hour to get used to it, since your eyes have to focus quite close, which does feel a bit weird at first, but you do get a much wider field of view than with your average mirror and you see a lot more than usual. Unfortunately, we have only been able to test this during daylight, and it would be very interesting to see how it works in the dark. But enough with the chit-chat, how does the sleek SUV coupe actually drive? Well, you get the typical chill when driving an electric car, but in the case of our dual motor model, there's quite the edge mixed in. Even the slightest tap on the gas, if we still want to call it that, pushes you into your seats, and you get dangerously close to ticket territory if you do not have an eye on your speed. Driving the Polestar 4 feels a lot more direct and sporty than the Polestar 2, and especially on these curvy mountain roads it's been a lot of fun. And even though it's quite a large car, it handles a lot more nimble than one would expect. Despite this casual sportiness, our Golden Rocket was a very comfortable car, which was probably also helped by the optional massage function in our light grey seats. We have also been lucky enough to go all the way on an unfortunately very short stretch on the German Autobahn, and the same understated performance experience brought us all the way up to slightly above 200 km an hour. One slight downer we noticed coming from the windows during higher speeds are some wind noises, but to be quite honest, I would rather call them noticeable than really annoying, since I felt like you can only hear them because the car is so quiet to begin with. I also tried the pilot assist briefly, and unfortunately it wasn't very confidence inspiring. I'm not sure if we dealt with an early version, and I also only used it for a very short part of the trip. Both in a construction zone and on a back road I often felt the need to intervene, and it wasn't a relaxing experience at all. But overall, we had a lot of fun with the new guy in Polestar's portfolio, and even though the weather wasn't quite perfect, it felt great to get back to shooting cars. And since the Polestar 4 looks great from all angles, we came back with some pretty amazing shots. The next day we went from gold to grey, and while I thought right from the beginning I would prefer the coupe, the large Polestar 3 caught me completely off guard. With an eye-watering sticker price of above 100k, you get a completely decked out SUV with the same stellar looks as the 4, but in a bit more settled down package. And while the Polestar 4 feels a little bit like the more hot-headed part of the family, being a lot more sporty and direct, Polestar's third car in their lineup is the chilled bigger brother. Cruising through the back roads felt like gliding along the road, and the air suspension was immediately noticeable. However, since we also drove the dual motor performance package, the big SUV can feel a lot smaller and sportier if you wanted to. So for me, it would be the perfect car for long trips with tons of space and a comfortable ride. And it also allows you to have quite a bit of fun on curvy back roads, or has you covered if you floor it to reach your destination a bit faster. So are these the best electric performance SUVs you can buy right now, or would I even recommend them? Well, since I am not a full-time car reviewer and have only limited experience with such high-end cars, I am definitely in no position to be able to say anything about that. I simply love the looks of Polestar's cars, and I really like the direction they want to take with their brand. And driving both cars for a few hours definitely left me with the feeling that they are somehow worth their pretty high price tag, with a smooth and sporty ride at the same time and high quality interiors. But as always, let me know what you think. We usually talk about notebooks in the comments, but I wouldn't mind to expand our topics a little bit, so hit me with your thoughts down below. That should be it for today. Thanks a ton for watching. Do not forget to check out our regular content, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.